This is dedicated to men at arms.
My grandmother's house has weird going on since before I was born. Mysterious ringing phones in the basement, TVs and VCRs with minds of their own, bassinets that rock by themselves. Anyway, it seems one of them may be a mimic. My grandfather had a job that would take him out of town. On at least 2 separate occasions when he was gone, my grandmother and uncle saw him walk down the hallway and out of sight. They thought maybe he had come home without them noticing, but his car wasn't even in the driveway either time. He came home later and insisted he hadn't been home. My mother also claimed she used to talk to her deceased grandmother at night times. Sometimes it scared her because she knew that logically it wasn't right, but it was her grandmother, so she felt safer about it. Knowing about mimics now, it probably wasn't her grandmother. And now my personal experience. My sister and I used to spend weekends at my grandmother's house when we were younger. We would all sleep in her bed, and my grandmother would make us bacon and hot cocoa for breakfast in the mornings. I woke up one morning, but I was still in the state of half awareness. I opened my eyes and saw my grandmother leaning in my bedroom window door, looking at me. I figured she had just come up to see if I was awake yet, but then she leaned backwards out of the doorway and other side. Something about the way she moved just wasn't right. And that's when I realized I smelled and heard bacon cooking downstairs. It struck me as odd that she would walk away from the bacon while it was on the stove. She was in her 70s at the time, and though she got around well for her age, taking the stairs was still a bit of a task and take some time. It didn't make much sense that she would risk burning food on the stove just to come upstairs and look at me. She could have just yelled up for me and said I would see if I was up. I called out to ask if she was upstairs. From where I was, I could see out of the bedroom door and down the stairs. She walked from the kitchen to the bottom of the stairs and said no, she was making bacon. I freaked a little, get out of bed. I got out of bed and booked it downstairs. My sister was already awake and downstairs with my grandmother, which is why she was already making bacon before I was up. Both of them said she had not been upstairs, so I told them what happened. That's when my grandmother told us the stories I have told you about seeing my grandpa when he couldn't have been there. So yeah, I've been a little scared of my grandmother's house ever since.